How's your girl, Patrick?
Oh, my girl. She's doing alright. She's doing alright. You know, complications. You know, as with any relationship, but it's gonna work out. It's gonna work out. Don't worry.
I hope so. I hope so
too. Hey, what in the world? What's that poster?
What are you saying?
It says no free speech allowed. That's terrible.
Why?
Because freedom of speech is one of the core values in the United States Constitution. And at least to me, it defines what it means to be American. Because it allows the people to say what they think without the government stopping them.
I understand your viewpoint, but like for me, I would say it's freedom of assembly. Mainly because like there's a difference between like saying that you want change and actually like causing change. Like you can just, for example, just gather together in like one union and just protest on an idea to actually make change happen.
Well, I see what you're saying, but for me, freedom of First Amendment means to me that you have a freedom of religion, and you get the freedom of religion allows you to choose the faith you believe in without being prosecuted by government.
I see what you mean. There are a lot more perspectives on the First Amendment than I was aware of.
Despite these high percentages of allowing people freedom of religion and freedom of speech, only 19% of people know about freedom of religion. People aren't aware that freedom of religion is guaranteed by the First Amendment. But even more astonishing is that 58% of people are aware that freedom of speech is guaranteed by the First Amendment. On top of that, only 10% of citizens are aware that freedom of assembly is guaranteed in the First Amendment. It seems that citizens generalize the First Amendment as the right of freedom of speech, but unaware of the other factors like freedom of religion and freedom of assembly. All factors are equally important, but not many people are aware of the rights and powers they possess within the United States. Studies have shown that the US is one of the top countries whose people can practice freedom of religion. The US has an 84% of citizens able to practice their religion freely and higher than other sections of the world. The global median of people practicing their freedom of religion is significantly less than the United States percentage of people practicing their freedom of religion.
You know, I mean, just because you have the right to say something doesn't necessarily mean that you always should, right? I mean, the First Amendment does not limit you from suffering the consequences of free speech, you know?
So I didn't know about that. So I think that people should be educated on the First Amendment. In fact, I think even students should be empowered by the knowledge of the First Amendment, so they can know,
Like what power they have at a very young age that is given to them.
How does freedom of religion define the American experience?
So I think that goes with freedom of speech and other freedom that people have in here. It's like a very unique stuff that in many countries they really don't have all the freedoms. Let's say for the religion, freedom of religion, in this country you get to support any religion you want.
Close quote. At Clemson University, the Student Code of Conduct bans any verbal or physical act that creates, quote, an offensive educational work or living environment, close quote.
This defines the American experience because it allows Americans to feel free and express themselves without the fear of being prosecuted from the government or limited from what they can say. This freedom is important to me because I find free thought and expression important for people to improve as individuals and as a society. It's through the rights given by the First Amendment that we are able to grow as people.
Or looting. There's also no excuse for police to use excessive force against peaceful protests or to throw protesters in jail for lawfully exercising their First Amendment rights.
Actions speak louder than words because actions cause change. Dreams will be dreams and visions will be always visions. But taking the first step makes it a reality. We're not prosecuted or beaten down by standing our ground. And until, for a single purpose, the only objection will be to use the violence, because that's not an assembly, but an anarchy. It shows the dark and good aspect of uniting a nation.
National and agency direction in combating Islamist-inspired terrorism is deeply flawed and profoundly dangerous. As a devout Muslim who loves my faith and loves my nation, the de-emphasis of radical Islam is the greatest obstacle to both national harmony and national security.
This demonstrates the American experience since it permits Americans to express their individual religious standpoint. This is important to me because it allows me to perform my religious activities independently without being judged by others. This connects to the definition of being an American, which is to have the freedom to decide what you want to believe in.
I feel like now I have a better understanding of the First Amendment and all the parts that make it up.
And me too. And I also now know that there's more than just freedom of religion in First Amendment.
I mean, now that we know most of the aspects of the First Amendment, we can finally grasp what it means to be an American.